Podcast City Network.
Listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to The Everett Lee Show. A shot of entertainment to the head. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the entertainment.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Everett Lee Show podcast. I got too many things going on here tonight on the podcast, but I just want to say welcome to another exciting show because I have a great guest lined up right now. She's watching me on the other video screen right now, giving me the evil eye, like, what the fuck is this guy doing? But I want to welcome to the program tonight none other than the amazing Amazon, Natasha Crane. How you doing there tonight, Natasha?
Hello. Welcome to the shit show, right?
Yeah. I'm multitasking. I'm good at multitasking, man. I mean, you can see that right there. You've seen right before going live and everything. Just multitasking.
I get distracted with things. So if I had more than one thing going on, I'd be like, "What's this over here? What is that beeping? I don't know where I am."
Yeah, it's crazy when you try to multitask and try to do a million, like 5 or 6 things at one time, you know, and it gets to you, man. It does. But other than that, I got a control on everything tonight, and I'm happy you're here tonight, man. Thanks for taking time out tonight and hanging out with me.
No problem. I'm glad you asked me because, you know, like I said, I've not really been interviewed on a podcast that I didn't run myself. So, I mean, I can't really count that, can I? I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit different being on the other side now. I mean, with getting interviewed instead of doing the interviews, you're being interviewed. So it's going to be a different experience, ain't it?
Well, at least I don't have to like run anything in the background. I'm just sitting here going, I have time. We're good. I don't have to be anywhere.
That is awesome. That is. I watched some of your matches over the weekend, and god dang, the matches I pulled 3 good matches that I thought was really good. I just picked 3 random matches, and out of those 3 random matches, all I can see in the ring is power and destruction, man, from what you do in the ring with your movesets and just everything.
That's really what I'm about. It's the only thing I can do. Could you see me 6'1", 220 doing a flip off the top? Nah, I'll leave that to somebody else.
Yeah, it's amazing to see the matches, watching them over the weekend and seeing what you do in the matches, because each of the 3 matches I watched, there was something different with them, and really good entertaining and really good in-ring performing. And that's what I loved. I loved about it. And I'm going to talk about...
Which ones did you watch? I'm curious.
Which ones? I got it right here on my desktop here. I watched your Fatal 4-Way you did with Pamela Starr and Casey Dillon and Moxie Molly. I watched that one.
Oh, right yeah, now. That one was crazy.
Yeah, that was... I didn't expect the finish to be like that.
It was crazy.
It was just the spots and everything, and just how the match finished. And you got your spots in pretty good, and then when you got outside the ring, I'm sitting there waiting. I'm like, when's she coming back, man? I mean, the rest of the match was fantastic, but I was I wanted to see more of you. But I enjoyed that Fatal 4-Way. I enjoy Fatal 4-Ways because anything can go during a Fatal 4-Way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then next match I watched was you and ACR versus Sideshow.
Oh, God, the clowns. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we made fun of them that night. Holy cow. There was brutality all over there.
Yeah,
And ACR just does not pull any punches. She stomps, she punches, she kicks. I'm glad she was on my side. That's all I'm going to say that night. I'm glad she was on my side.
Yeah, it was a really entertaining match. I enjoyed that right there. When I saw clowns, I said I got to see what happens here, and that was
Right.
yeah. I mean, you got to see what happens with clowns. You got to see clowns getting beat up, man, and it was just great. And I like the name they called you, the Terminators. That's what I got.
Yeah. Yeah. We were and we were the only one that was really for Steve. We were the only ones that were victorious. So I mean, that kind of tells something about us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, when you team with ACR, that's what you are, the Terminators, or is it?
Actually, that was the first time that we tagged, and I mean, she's kind of. I would tag with her again in a heartbeat. She was a lot of fun.
Yeah, she was amazing. She was amazing in the ring. What I seen, what she did, and I loved it when you got the clown over there on the ropes and you just giving it to him. Man, that was just great. To me, it seemed like the referee was just hanging out there because it's like he had no order. He had no order during the match. It's like, what the hell, man? It's like no order. Okay, this is great, man. I was like, this reminds me of AEW tag team match. So this is my match right up my alley with no order going on, man. It's just in and out, man.
Anarchy.
Yes, it was anarchy, but you guys ended up beating the clowns, and that was fantastic. I love that. I definitely love that. And the last match I pulled up was you versus Nikki Wolf. That
okay, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good right there. Watching you and Nikki Wolf there because the size factor played in because she's tiny and you're 6'1", right?
Right. That was a good one too. Yeah, that one was a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, what I liked about that was just the spots and stuff. It was just all power, especially the spot with the turnbuckles going into the turnbuckles, and therefore, I mean, you were dominant in that match right there. And just when she got the upper hand and she tried to build that momentum, you shut her right down, man. You shut her down, and I enjoyed that, man. I enjoyed that, and I was going through just looking at like. There was stuff on your YouTube channel there of new stuff and then stuff from a year. So you got a lot of content on your YouTube channel, which I love, man. You go back and watch any matches, and there's other people who put matches up of yourself. I mean, just
right. I mean, I try to keep myself the things I do pretty current. There's a couple that I haven't posted just because I kind of had a time crunch. There was a match I did a couple weekends ago at Berwyn Championship Wrestling against Kendra that I have not posted yet, but I'm going to get that up soon. I promise. Scouts Hunter.
All right, that's awesome. I'll be definitely be looking forward to seeing that. I definitely will. And some of the stuff that while I was watching her matches, I was like, what am I going to ask Natasha when I have her on? What am I going to ask the amazing Amazon once I have her on? And I wanted to know, where did it all start for you? Where did you grow up at?
As much as I like to say that I'm from Vegas, I do have family in Vegas, so I do kind of pay homage to them. And I do love Vegas. I mean, who doesn't? But Midwest. I've been in the Midwest most of my life, so I'm a Midwest girl, Illinois, so
pretty much
farm, corn, bullshit.
Midwest. That's cool. That's cool. When did you start watching wrestling? At what age? When did you discover wrestling and you're like, wow, this is just the greatest thing I've seen? Or when did that start for you?
Oh God, many moons ago. I used to watch it with my dad, like back in the early 80s, and I'm really kind of giving myself age right now, but I loved all the '80s wrestling, and I think like once I started actually watching it as a small child and understanding what was going on, like how great of a thing that professional wrestling was, I was automatically hooked, and I'm like, I can't wait to start doing this. Although I didn't really start doing it until like 2021, but
Uh-huh.
it was in the back of my mind like, hey, you should go try this out because it looks like something you could do.
Nice. Nice. Now, when you were watching it back growing up there, when you were watching it, who did you like when you were watching it on TV? Who like caught your eye? You're like, wow, I love this talent here. I love this worker here.
Probably Bret Hart. I was always a Hitman fan. Him and Anvil. I don't know. I'm like I would be Bret Hart, and I'd have to find my Anvil. I'm like I have to find this big beefy guy that does this, like weird sadistic ha 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 kind of laugh, and I wear the sunglasses, and I'll put people in arm bars and side Russian leg sweep and all this crap, and I'm like I want to be Bret Hart. Yeah, I liked the technical aspect of what he did. And he had a lot of like amateur roots growing up in like a Hart dungeon and whatnot. So yeah, I loved Bret Hart. He was my guy.
He had some great matches, man. I mean, like especially when he was a tag team, yeah, like the Hart Foundation with Anvil Neidhart. That was amazing. And then when he went on to singles, I mean, he had great feuds with Shawn Michaels, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Yeah. I mean, especially for that Iron Man match he had with Shawn Michaels. That was
crazy.
It was an amazing match, and it was crazy because it's like, who the hell's going to win this championship? Is it going to be the Hitman or HBK? And just a great technical wrestler. And I'd have to say one of my favorite Bret Hart matches was WrestleMania 13 when I Quit match, Stone Cold Steve Austin, man.
That one was good, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked the ones that he did with Davey Boy and Kurt Hennig. Those were two of my favorites too. I'm like, these can go either way. They're both, especially with Hennig. He was so technically sound like Hart was. I'm like,
yeah,
I would definitely watch their shoot. I'm not even lying. I'm like, just go, guys. Just go. Just whatever you guys want to do. I don't care how it ends. I just want to see 15 minutes of good, solid wrestling.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. Especially if with Davey Boy Smith for the Intercontinental Championship. I think it was SummerSlam 90 or SummerSlam 91. I can't remember.
Yeah, they were over in the UK, and I was like, I really have a feeling how this is going to go, but I cannot be mad at this match either way. This is what wrestling should be,
Yeah. Yeah. That was a fantastic match. Big crowd, biggest crowds they've had for SummerSlam, and they've never topped it. It was almost big as a WrestleMania. How many people?
Oh yeah, I mean, when you have a good card, I mean, people come to see that stuff, and you'll order it on TV if you can't get there. I mean, people pay for good wrestling.
Oh yeah, yeah. I pay for the WWE Network. I mean, they got a lot of good content on there. I know they had to like reorganize stuff to make room for other things,
yeah.
But they still got a lot of great content. I like going back and watching the Territory Day wrestling, like Mid-South and Atlantic.
See, that's the stuff I like going back and watching. I don't really have a lot of time to like watch current wrestling, unfortunately, but I do like to just go back and pop in something from like 70s and 80s. I'm like, that's wrestling to me,
Yeah, it definitely is. I'm right there with you. I love that stuff because I was a kid and grew up watching that, and then teenager during the Attitude Era, because the Attitude Era was crazy, man. Especially the Monday Night Wars. You had the Monday Night Wars. You had WCW going head to head with the WWE at the time, man. I mean, the Monday Night Wars was just fantastic because a lot of stuff. And I'd have to say my favorite would have to be Steve Austin, The Rock, and Triple H, and The Undertaker. I mean, just they put on some great stuff. And
right, definitely.
Yeah, WCW side had some great stuff too. I mean, they had, you had the NWO, you had Hogan turning bad, and just some great the cruiserweights. I mean, you had Rey Mysterio, you had Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, Chris Jericho. I mean, just
I love Jericho. God.
Jericho.
The first time I saw him, I went, this guy is something. And then like 30 years later, I'm like, he's still something, like 25, 30 years later, I'm like, this guy is still something.
Yeah, he is. He is. I mean, he's still holding his own, man, even at his age and stuff. And the guy is busy. He wrestles, he performs with his band, Fozzy, and he does Talk is Jericho. I mean, the guy is like
and he has his own cruise. So
yeah.
he has his own cruise. I mean,
yeah,
he's living the best life right now.
Mm-hmm. He is. He definitely is living the best life. I mean, who wouldn't, wouldn't?
I've seen Fozzy 3 times, and I just love him. And I actually went out to L.A. in September, and I saw Fozzy open up for Iron Maiden. So that was insane. I was like, does life get any better than this? I'm like, no, it doesn't.
That's amazing.
Other than maybe like being on like a WrestleMania card. Other than that, I'm like, it doesn't get any better than this.
I like to see Iron Maiden, man, especially Bruce Dickinson running around on stage, man, and
at his age, and he still performs like he's 20, and his and I said to everyone, I'm like, this guy has CD quality vocals.
Yeah, he does.
At, like almost 70, and I'm like, who else can do this? I'm like, show me one person. You can't convince me.
No, I mean, yeah, he's like Mick Jagger. He's up there running around and just performing at like he's 20 and just living a great life there. I mean, the worst mistake Iron Maiden made was when they got rid of Bruce Dickinson, and I was glad that they got him back. Have you noticed that a lot of bands at one time, like your favorite band, I know I have some favorite bands that got rid of their lead singer, and the lead singers come back. I mean, like recently, Killswitch Engage got their
lead singer
back, man. I mean, just that's amazing, and just back in the day, Motley Crue, Vince Neil left, and then Vince came back.
Right. But the funny thing about that is, like back in like the 80s and 90s when Ozzy left Black Sabbath, they're like, well, what is Ozzy gonna do now? Bam! He comes out with a solo album, and he knocked the world on its ass. Let's be real. They're like, can he do it alone? Yes, he can.
Yeah.
Yes, he can, and he did, and he's still going strong.
Oh yeah, he is. He's definitely going strong at his age and stuff. And I was a little bummed there to hear about the Parkinson's that he may have. Man, I was like, shit,
Right. It's like, well, I don't know if I'll ever see him now, but.
Yeah. I know. I would have liked to get to see him at least once. I mean, that would be amazing, I mean, I wanted to see Black Sabbath though, but they're pretty much done. I mean, they
oh yeah. I mean, if I had a time machine, I'd be like in the 60s and 70s, going to all the concerts, going, all right, well, I know the hype now. I understand what this hype was,
Yeah. His hype was just amazing and stuff. I like Black Sabbath when they got Ronnie James Dio in there. They put out some great stuff. Heaven and Hell. I mean, I have one of their albums that has Ronnie James
Even
Dio.
though they kind of had that different sound with Ronnie James, it still kind of had that Black Sabbath feel.
Mm-hmm.
But that Ronnie James, he's like Freddie Mercury. You can put him basically in any group, and he'd be like, I can do this. This is easy. I mean,
yeah.
It's like, this is what I want. This is the sound, and here's what we're going to do.
Right.
And they'll sing. It's easy,
Yeah, I loved him in Richie Blackmore's Rainbow, man. He did some really good songs, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was good stuff.
Yeah, that's the shit you rock out to.
Oh my God, yeah.
I listened to on Sirius XM. I listened to Ozzy's Boneyard, and of course they're throwing Rainbow in there, man. Sitting there listening, man, on top of Silver Mountain. I love that. I mean,
on the Silver Mountain.
I love that. Just Richie Black.
Nobody can tell me that once you hear that, you don't try to do it yourself. You're like, no one's looking. I'm the man on the Seals of Mountain. Yeah. Come on. Everyone does it.
Yeah, I do. I'm driving down the road. I'm driving down the highway, like going to work in the morning, or if I'm like coming back in the afternoon from work, I'm sitting there hauling ass and just sitting there jamming out. And I'm saying, of course, I am in my car, and people's looking at me like, what the hell's this guy? You know, I'm like, I drive by and I'm sitting there and I'm like, just driving by and I'm like, yeah.
Simmons going like
It is amazing. It is. Now when you got into watching wrestling and became a fan of it and stuff, when did you decide for yourself? You said, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I want to do this. When did you decide you wanted to do it, and how did you go about doing it?
Well, I saw, like, in my area, like the independent federations and whatnot, and some of them would have, like, training schools and whatnot, so I'd go to check them out, and after a few practices, I just kind of went, yeah, I mean, once I get used to this, I think I could do this. And, I started with one of the local feds, and after, like, 7 months, when they started running shows, they had me, like, managing and doing whatnot, to kind of get, like, acclimated to the audience and, like, what to do and this and that. So, I think I had my first match, like, after a year of, like, when I started. So,
okay,
it was fun. I don't remember much about it because it was a little bit ago, but, I mean, I had a lot of fun with it, so I mean, I was kind of stuck with it for a while, and it kind of took off from there.
Oh, okay. So, when going in the training and everything and stuff, I mean, where'd you go for training and everything and stuff? Did you
back then, it was it was called Wicked Wrestling. And they had a ring, and they would do setup, and they would run practices and whatnot. So, like before shows and like during the week or whatever, like whenever everyone could get together and run a practice. So.
Okay. Now, you getting out there and having your first match. Of course, we all you remember your first match. How was your first match that you had?
Oh, the first match back in like early 2000s. Oh yeah, it's not on YouTube, and if I ever found it, it would be burned. It was horrible. It was bad.
Was it?
It's a lot. I'm a lot better now, but it was so bad. Oh, it was terrible.
Oh wow, it was that bad, huh?
It was so bad. How bad was it? So bad it's not on YouTube.
Well, at least that's good. It's not on YouTube there. I mean,
it never happened. Well, it never happened then, did it?
Never happened. Nope. Delete. Delete.
Wrestling.
Now, what being out there, being on the road, and wrestling for promotions? What promotions have you worked for? Have you wrestled for?
Right now I'm with Southland Championship Wrestling. I got my SCW shirt on.
Nice.
A friend of mine actually mentioned that they were looking for more people to train. So I went down there to Bradley, Illinois, where they run, and I checked out the school, and I really enjoyed it. I liked everybody there, and I felt like I clicked with everyone. So I felt like that was kind of a good time to return and do what I wasn't able to do my first run, basically. So I'm also I've worked with ARW Pro. They're out of Northwest Indiana. And I'm also currently working with Phoenix Pro. They're up in Holman, Wisconsin. It's basically like Minnesota. Like you take another couple steps and you're in Minnesota. It's like really close. And I had a match with Berwyn Championship Wrestling a couple weeks ago. So.
Oh wow. So pretty much you've been you've wrestled for a lot of promotions, man. That's amazing. I love it. And I'm
always trying to get out there more. So I mean, like.
Mm-hmm. You're building that resume, man. That's the best thing to do. Yeah.
And that Damian Saint guy, I'm not. There might be some mixed opinions about him, but without him, I wouldn't be here right now. Yeah. And he's kind of like poking me in the ass, going, "Hey, hit these people up. Hey, hit those people up." And I've been trying to like go, yeah, I need to do this. So I'm kind of lazy when I do it. I'm like, hey. Do you have any open spots? And they're like, yeah, sure, give me some video. And like 3 weeks later, I'm like, here you go. I totally, I space out.
Right.
And in between practice and gym and other life shit, I just go, did I get back to that guy? Like with you, I was like, I waited a few days and went, yeah, I'm totally interested. And then I went, yeah, I want to do this, and I really should. And then finally I went, damn it, I'm going to put my foot down and we're going to do it. And I'm not going to back
out. Yeah. I was sitting there. At least you got back with me. I had one person, this was a few years ago. I had one person reach out to me. They hit me up email and everything and said, hey, I want to come on, and this is what I do and this is what I discuss. And I was like, okay, this is cool. So when it came down for the time and everything to get them on and stuff, I had everything set up, ready to go. I'm going to go live or record. I sat here and I waited. And so I hit him up on social, and I was looking at his stuff, and I'm like, man, he hasn't updated nothing in since 2013. He hasn't updated his Twitter, Facebook.
Oh my God.
I was like, what the hell? So I sent him back out, and I'm like, you gonna come on? What's going on?
Did you die? Are you alive? Check your pulse.
He never got back with me, so I said, all right, oh well. So I just I just went on about my way and just cut my losses, But I had one time Billy Sparks. I've had her on. I don't know if you've heard of Billy Sparks. Have you?
Not really. I mean, if I saw something I might recognize.
Mm-hmm.
With independence, I mean, people are in and out all the time. So right. I'm like, I'd have to actually watch someone and go, yes, I really recognize this person or not.
Okay. I had her on, and I sent her a message, and it was almost a month. I sent her a message, so I didn't hear nothing back from her on Facebook. I was sitting there one day. It was right around the time last year when we down here in Daytona when we had that bad hurricane, and I went to Tampa.
God.
Yeah, I went to Tampa, so I'm there in Tampa at my aunt's house. Sitting there, riding out, a hurricane that never did hit. So, I mean, I took every precaution there is and everything. But
right. I mean, it's one of those things where you have to go, I have to anticipate this thing coming in and wrecking my shit. I can't just go, oh, it won't hit. I've noticed a lot of people in Florida will do that.
Yeah.
Like Florida and Louisiana and all the coastal states. They're like, oh, it won't hit. And then their shit gets wiped out. And, my husband used to live in the New York, New Jersey area. He would tell me all about nor'easters, and I went, I never ever wanted. I don't even want to hear about. I mean, we get some shit in the Midwest, but I don't even want to hear about something that goes up the coast, goes out in the ocean, gets more strength, comes back around, and I'm like, I cannot deal with this 20 feet of Buffalo, New York bullshit. I know, just leave me out of it. I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah, I was sitting there I've run in the last 3 years. I've run from probably about like 3 hurricanes. It's gotten worse, and I ended up this time last year. I went to Tampa. And I was hanging out at my aunt's, and I'm sitting there on her porch, sitting there drinking a cup of coffee, talking to my aunt and everything, and talking to my family, and all of a sudden, boom, phone goes off, and I'm looking, and I'm like, oh, I was like. And then she apologized, really cool about it and stuff, and said she was hardly on Facebook. She gets hit up all the time, with messages. So I can understand that.
Right.
You know how it is. It's when your messenger ends up with like a list of people just hitting you up randomly, and my message got mixed up in the mix, and we set a date and we planned it and stuff though, but. Yeah, I just that's pretty pretty funny there, because I know I figured you were probably busy with stuff, with training, having matches, so I was like in between she'll get a hold of me and let me know what's up, and I know I messaged one person around that time too before Billy hit me up, and I never heard nothing back. Nothing. So I was like, all right, no Twitter to get a hold of them. I was like, how do I get a hold of this person? I was like, talent's harder to get a hold of, man. I was thinking, I was like, you know what? I should be a wrestler, or maybe debt collectors quit calling me. They can't get a hold of me.
It's so true.
Yeah. There's no way to get a hold of them. It's like I could probably just do what Hillbilly Jim does, man. He lives out in Kentucky. All he has is one landline, and it's probably, his number's unlisted.
Right. It's one of those things where you're like, if you're just not interested, just say no. I'm like, I've got other things that I have to be doing. Just say, maybe at a later date. Right now, shit's kind of hitting the fan right now. I don't have time. Fine. Let me know when you have time. All right, fine.
Yeah. I also hit up a guest one time, and they were in a major movie. They played an extra for a scene, and so I hit them up, and we did conversation back and forth on, I think it was like on Twitter, and I said, yeah, I do a podcast. Love to have you come on. This was like about 3-4 years ago. And they said, oh, great. Contact my agent. I was like, yeah, I'll get back with you. I was like, no. I was like, when I hear, get back with my agent, it's probably not going to be a good thing. They probably want a little, and it's like, I don't have that.
It's like I'm asking you, damn it.
Yeah.
Just say yes or no.
Yeah. Come on, I'm going to promote you. Come on. Free advertisement. Right?
It's like you were in the background of some obscure 80s movie. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
It's like off your high horse, man. Come on, just yes or no, and it'd be like a half hour at the most, and just bullshit and do whatever.
Yeah. It's just just BS, man. I just
people.
Yeah. People sometimes, like Jim Morrison said, people are strange. He was not lying about that.
In all of his drug-induced highs, that's one truth he did lay out upon the world. I'm just saying.
Yeah, someone was talking about brought up about someone who wasn't dead but was alive, and I threw out there, I always say this, I said, Jim Morrison's alive. He's out in the desert. And they're like, what?
Right.
Either
you can throw out like a Tupac or Biggie and you're like, they're still alive?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
The government was lying to me the entire time. Damn them.
They're in protective custody, man. They're probably over in the suburbs, with the, living a normal life. like we're the Millers. Did you ever see that?
Oh no, I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, great movie. It definitely is a great movie. What your matches that we talked about earlier, about the 3 matches I watched. Now, out of all the matches that you've had, which one would have to be your favorite? Which one that sticks out more than in any of the matches you've been in?
For my current run, my little feud that I've got going with Angus McDuff. I love fighting guys because it's just I'm their size, and I'm like, I can hang with these guys. I can kick their ass. All right, fine. That one and the one with Casey Dillon. We had an actual singles match, but unfortunately, I don't think we'll ever get to see a rematch or anything like that. She did retire due to a knee injury, I believe. So unfortunately, that's one match I'll probably never get a repeat of. But,
right.
But yeah, usually when I work with the guys, I just seem to have more fun. You know.
Yeah.
They just seem to be more like down with whatever. Sometimes, so.
Yeah, the intergen I can't even say that.
Intergender.
Yeah, the intergender matches. I was thinking about that when I was watching her matches over the weekend. I'm sitting there watching her matches, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I said, here recently, if you notice, especially like in the last 2 years, those type of matches have become more popular, but they've been going on for forever, have they not?
Right, but they become more mainstream, and I kind of like that. It just kind of broadens your horizon, and like you just add more people to to your resume that you've worked with.
Right.
So I mean, I think it's a good thing. I mean, as long as it's done right, I'm all for it. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how they book it, how they present it, how the story's told outside the ring, and how the story's told inside the ring. I believe that all plays a factor. That's wrestling right there, because you can tell a great story with a great build up and with a great story in the ring. You definitely can do that. You definitely can do that. It just depends on how it's booked. And it's if it's booked right and everything, all those factors playing a key. Like for me, I'm in, man. I'm totally in. I definitely like to see it. I definitely did.
Especially if you get a guy and a girl that are close in size, and then you beat the crap out of each other. It's so much more fun. You're like, whoa, she kicked some serious ass. It's like, she's afraid of not, and I'm like, nope.
I have to say, one of your moves that I find impressive that I've noticed I caught you do is that front power slam, man. Just how you pick them up and just boom, you just hit them off the mat.
The good old Mark Henry slam.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorites because you see a lot of people like do a standard body slam, and I'm like, oh, let's bring back the front Mark Henry slam. I'm like, let's do that.
Yeah.
And I don't see many people doing the black hole slam, and I like to pull that out every now and again. That's one of my fortes. I'll like a Randy Orton out of nowhere, just bam, they're done.
That's
and
great.
It really is, if you look at it, and if you think about it, it is kind of one of those moves that you can almost pull out of anywhere. You can just do like a ripcord, pull them back in, bam, they're done. You know.
Right. I love it. I love it. Especially when you do that front Mark Henry power slam, you let out that big yell, and it's like boom.
I do that with my my side slams too. I'll hold them there for a minute, and then I'm like, oh, when are you gonna drop? When are you gonna drop? You don't know. Oh, now. So you don't see your death coming, but it's here. You're gonna die today.
Now, when I see your opponent in the turnbuckle, what I've noticed too is when you come charging at him into the turnbuckle, it reminds me of the power and the strength of Braun Strowman for some reason. I don't know.
Oh, he's another one of my favorites. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get these hands. I'm like, I can't say that, but somebody's gonna get these hands.
Yeah.
I could turn into somebody's gonna get bodied because I tend to body people a lot.
Right. Yeah,
it's like a roller derby. I'm just like, hockey. Roller derby.
I think you'd be brutal out there if you did roller derby, man. You would be brutal. You would dominate.
One of the trainees used to do roller derby, and she's still heavily involved with it. She doesn't really skate anymore. She's had like too many injuries or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But the problem with that is that you'd have to put me on roller skates, and I can't skate to save my life. If I didn't have to wear wheels on my feet, I would be all about it. I'd just be like, I'd be all about it. I'm like, I can't skate though. I'm very clumsy.
Yeah, I feel that if you did roller derby, I feel that you would dominate that, man. You definitely would dominate it, and I'd feel bad for your victims. I definitely would, because they there'd be no place for them to go, man. There would be no place for them to run, because or actually the skate. It'd be like, oh no, here she comes. Here comes Natasha. Ah, clothesline.
or just a little hip check. Just to throw you off balance, like, oh, sorry about that. So on your second go around, you're like, hey, roadkill.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I love
it's in
it.
the name, so
yeah. Yeah. You are an amazing talent. I loved and was entertained by the matches, and it's just you got a really good moveset, because when I watched that first match, I'm sitting there watching, and I was like, all I thought was this word came to my mind: power. I said,
oh yeah,
power. She's a powerhouse, and that's good. That's good. And when you had that match with Nikki Wolf, I love the fact you showed your power.
David and Goliath. Yeah. It was total David and Goliath.
Yeah. It definitely was. It was one of those, because when she started, like I said earlier, when she started coming with that comeback, you shut it down. And,
get out of here.
Yep. 1, 2, 3. I tell you, I went last year out here at Daytona. AEW came out for the Fighter Fest.
Yeah.
I was mad when Nyla Rose lost against. I can't.
I know. I was sad. I'm like,
come on. I was upset by that, because I stood up and I yelled. I said, and people were looking at me like, what the hell is his problem? I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, that's bullshit. Yeah. I yelled, and someone looked at me, and I said, and I looked at my wife, and I said, big person should not be defeated by a little person. I was like, come on, no. I was like, and when we were leaving, I even told my wife, I said, Nyla, the only thing I'm upset is Nyla Rose match. She's a winner there. Boom, boom, squashed him. 1, 2, 3, went off. That's it.
Right.
Yeah, that's just how I felt about that. I was upset about that, because it's like, Nyla is a powerhouse, and they need to display that, because what she's doing in the ring, and then they just come in and just, I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. Who was her opponent on that one?
It was two Japanese girls, and I can't say their name to save my life.
Okay, I was gonna say, because she was like, for that when they were introducing the women's title or whatever, and she had that match with that one little skinny girl.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know how this is gonna go, and I don't want it to end this way. I think it should either been like that Nyla went over, or that it was declared some kind of like no contest, like she got herself disqualified somehow, and then like kind of built to like some kind of other match or whatever. But I don't think she should have been taken out like right there, because it kind of killed any momentum that she had. But again, I'm not the booker, so I can't. Yeah. That's all I can really say about it.
Since we're talking about AEW, now, you said you really don't watch current wrestling like WWE and NXT or AEW. I mean, you watch.
I did watch the Rumble, and before that, I don't think I've caught like a Raw or anything. I generally kind of tune in for like pay-per-views and whatnot when I kind of have time.
Okay.
I'll put them in like a saved folder, and then sometimes I watch them. I'll skim over them, and sometimes I'll just be like, I don't have time. So. I know I'm terrible. But I do go to like a lot of independent shows. So um I do investigative work on the independent level. I don't really do it like on the big screen, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, because you're not the first independent wrestler that's said that, because I've asked I think a few, and they said they only catch it when they can, and they don't really keep up with it, but they're familiar with the talent and everything that's in the promotion.
Oh yeah.
Now, if you could have a match with someone in AEW, NXT, or WWE, who would that be?
I don't really watch a whole lot of NXT, but and I don't really know a lot of their names, but I mean, I think everyone that's actually in the NXT is where they should be. I like the NXT division. It's kind of like the step before getting on the main roster, so you kind of like hone your skills a little. It's like in between like independent and main roster. So I mean, it's kind of good for people that want to take that next step and get to the big leagues. NXT or AEW, probably Nyla.
Nyla.
Probably Nyla. I don't know. The first time I saw her, I went, "Eat her shit up." I don't know. I seem to work better with bigger people.
Mm-hmm.
I oddly enough, this would probably be my last match ever, but Bray Wyatt, I'd have a match with him in a heartbeat. I don't know why. I absolutely love Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that they're actually making him the monster that he should be.
Yeah.
With the whole mask and the split personality thing, and I thought it was creepy at first, and then I went, "Oh, this is fucking brilliant. This is the most brilliant thing that they've done in a long time." Long time.
It is.
And then, of course, I'd have a match with Jericho. It would be a shit fest, just us canning each other like, "You ain't shit."
That's great. That's great. Yeah, the Bray Wyatt character, I know I love it, because I love how he separates both of them. And and at TLC, when he went out to face The Miz, it was Bray Wyatt, not the Fiend.
Yeah. And you're like, wait a minute, it's supposed to be like the Fiend, and it's this guy with this little button-down shirt, and he's all happy, and he's all coming out, and like, "Hey, everybody!" And you're like, what the fuck is this?
I know, but he was still over with the fans. That was the amazing part about it.
Yeah.
That's what I loved about it. He was still this guy being the Fiend, because we've seen the Fiend so many times already, and him coming out as the Bray Wyatt from the Firefly Funhouse, out there in the ring, like button up and everything, and he had a great match with The Miz. And you did see elements of the Fiend, but you still
it was like contained, like, "Oh wait, we can't let him out. This isn't his time to be out today. He needs to be back in his little cage in the corner," kind of thing.
Yeah. It definitely was interesting how they did that, and I was fine with it. At first, I was like, really? But when I saw the fans' reaction and sitting there watching that, I said to myself, you know what? I said, this is
get it.
Yeah, I get it, because it's two separate characters, and he's had a hard time trying to find a character, find any gimmick, because this is like the third time he's actually come up with something.
Right. And here's the thing, though. Like, when he first came out, like, it seemed like they kind of wanted, it was like at the tail end of, like, The Undertaker's run, and they wanted another Undertaker. And they came out with Bray Wyatt and his family and all this, that, and whatnot. And unfortunately, they had the intro perfect. That kind of instilled the curiosity and a little fear into the fans.
Yeah.
But then when he kept losing, it kept killing his momentum, and in situations that he probably should not have lost.
Right. Right.
They really buried that. And then like that second, I call this the second wind with the Fiend and the Firefly Funhouse and all that. And I'm like, I'm not sure if the fans are going to take him back so quickly. And when everyone started to like cheer for him and they understood what was going on, and like I was so happy. I'm like, yes, this is what his first run should have been.
Yeah, that's what it should have been, because I know he did the Husky Harris character, which didn't work out too well, and then him doing the Bray Wyatt all the way up until he reinvented himself there. I even liked the stuff he did with Matt Hardy. Some of
that was like hit and miss. I'm like, some of it was really good, and then the next week you're like, oh, that kind of fizzled a little.
Yeah, it did, but it was great. It was great. Them cutting promos on each other was fantastic.
That was the takeaway. That's the takeaway. We're like, we're gonna take the promos from this, and we're just gonna forget the rest.
That was amazing. Just those promos they had going back and forth, man. Because that was entertaining. Because at one point I didn't know what the fuck they were saying, and I said, you know what?
I'm sure they didn't either. There's kind of like Macho Man on a cocaine rant, and just like, what is he saying? Who cares? Just keep the camera on him. He's still going, and he's pulling creamers out of his shirt, going cream the crop, right? I'm like, just let him go. Just let him go. This is good stuff. Trust me, one day in like 20, 30 years, you're going to go back, or you're going to watch this, and you're going to go, I'm glad we kept that camera. This is fucking brilliant. Just like the sweat and him getting so into it. And I'm like, yeah, this is what it should be.
It's definitely what it should be. Yeah, you're talking about Macho Man and Ultimate Warrior. We did take the spaceship full of rocket fuel. We'll go to the moon. Yeah, I love that.
And then you kind of like switch the dynamic. And then you go to like a Jake the Snake promo, and he's just very calculated, and he talks in a very low, slow voice. And you're like, bring the cocaine guys back. This is creeping me the fuck out. And he brings out the pythons and all that. And I'm like, as much of a snake lover as I am, I'm like, just leave the snake, and I'm going to hang out with the snake, okay?
That snake. I love his promos, because his promos, the psychology of Jake Roberts is so great. I mean, even Diamond Dallas Page was like, that's what he wanted to come across when he was in wrestling, was the psychology of Jake Roberts. And I was surprised, since you brought up Jake Roberts, I was surprised that I watched the on the WWE Network when Steve Austin was talking with Undertaker, and he asked Undertaker, at that time, who was the guy you went to? And I was like, really? Because it made a lot of sense now when he said he went to Jake Roberts back during his.
Oh, yeah, like if you watched the Undertaker, when Paul Bearer was cutting the promos for him, he's like, Hulk Hogan, you will rest in peace, and he had that cadence to his voice, and I'm like, you're right, it did touch a lot on Jake Roberts, because he had a very calculated promo, and I'm like, with the Undertaker, you wouldn't have to be like jumping around screaming. He'd just look at the camera and go, do his thing, and that's all you have to do. I'm like, that would scare the pants off of me. I don't know about you, but that would scare the shit out of me. I'm like, I don't want to fight this guy now.
Yeah, same here.
He doesn't have to say anything. He just stands there like, and does the eye roll thing. No, I'm good. I'm out of here. I'm good. I'm out of here. I don't need this.
Yeah, he cut some really good promos. Even what I liked about Undertaker was when he did cut a promo, he didn't really have to cut a promo when he was in the ring, because the emotion on his face told that story, and what he felt, because you felt it when he was in the ring with someone. It definitely was.
Definitely.
Yeah, it definitely was something that you would feel while you're watching it. And I was so happy after all these years watching him grow up while I was growing up, watching him on TV. In 2015, me and my wife, we decided to go up to New York, and we went to SummerSlam and I finally got to see the dead man in person. I kid you not. Just like they said with his entrance, the hair on my arms stood up.
Yes, and even when you watch it on TV, you're like, you just get that little tingle. You're like, ooh, I get it. This is what it is. This is what we came here for. This is the worth the price of admission.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, it definitely was worth the price of admission, because just right over there, I got a couple of the chairs from SummerSlam.
Nice. So you got like floor seats where you pay a little extra and you get to keep the chair and all that shit. That's good stuff.
Yeah, it is. It is. There's only 2 pay-per-views that me and my wife went to where we got the floor chairs. The first one was in July of 2014 at Battleground in Tampa. We went to that one, and then we got the floor chairs for that one. We were right there when Roman Reigns was coming right down. When he was he was basically.
They're doing the crowd entrance still.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was amazing, and we had a really good time right there. And I could always go back and network and be like, yeah, sitting right there, man, because I was holding the signs. I held the sign that said Everett, and I held a sign that said Roman Reigns, and then at, of course, SummerSlam 2015, we kept those chairs too, being up there in Brooklyn, which was amazing, because
nice.
My wife got the package where we went back the following night for Monday Night Raw, so we were sitting on the hard camera side, which was amazing, and then that morning before SummerSlam, I got to meet Paige and Seth Rollins.
Nice.
Yeah, Paige was cool. Seth, he was playing it off like. I walked up. I was wearing an Ambrose shirt. I'm like, "Hey, how's it going, Rollins?" And he's like, "Hey," I'm like, "Here."
Right.
Yeah, I was like, "Hey, we're taking a picture." And he's like, "Huh?" It's like, click. And it's like, "Goodbye," and then it walked off. And then when they're at like shows and stuff, sometimes like I'll go into autopilot and like just like, yeah, okay, let's do that. And he's probably like, autopilot, I got to get in and I got to get my shit ready. Yeah. Yeah.
These damn fans want a picture.
Yeah. Yeah. It was actually one of the most for me, it was a little bit nerve-wracking experience meeting someone, because we lined up, because we had a breakfast there before we did the meet and greet, and we're sitting there at the table, me and my wife, and we're sitting there trying to figure out who we were going to meet. And I had the table laughing. I said, for all we know, we probably might meet Steve Lombardi, the Brooklyn Brawler. Everyone laughed.
I've been like, you know what? For humor's sake, this is great. This is probably the best day of my life.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. But when we got up there, they're like, come on, hurry, come on, take a picture. Okay, nice. All right, next, hurry, come on. By the time we got done, there was like an hour left to do whatever, and I was like, I looked at my wife.
Right.
I was like, really? I was like, what the hell just happened? I was like,
unfortunately, with like a lot of meet and greets and like with cons, I know my husband's been to a lot of Star Trek cons and the Comic Cons and shit like that. And they do that. They'll just rush people through. And I'm like, if you've got like a 3-hour slot, you can kind of time it out.
Yeah.
How this should be going,
Yeah.
I mean, not have a 45-minute conversation with somebody, but
Yeah. Gonna have like a couple minutes.
I appreciate your work. I love you in the ring or on this TV show, movie, whatever. Get a picture, get an autograph, and move the fuck on. I mean, like a minute, 2, 3 at tops. I mean, I'm not expecting a full blown conversation with the person, but
yeah. I know. I
also need to breathe in and say hello.
Yeah. When I was at Firefest last year, I was sitting. Me and my wife were sitting next to this guy who was on vacation, and he came down from Cocoa just to come up, and he's like, I heard about this to come up here, and he had like one of those professional cameras to take pictures and stuff. So we saw down at the bottom of the towards like the entrance there. It looked like shoot, I'm trying to remember. He's in NXT Undisputed Era. Bobby Fish. And,
okay.
Yeah. So he said, hey, I want to. Could you take a picture with me and Bobby Fish? I said, yeah, we'll go down there. We'll say, hey, what's up? So we went down there, and he was talking to Chase Owens, and we kind of walked up and we kind of gave him, we gave him respect and not like you walked up, barged up there, be like, oh, take a picture. So we waited. This dude walked by and he did a double take. As soon as he double take, I said, no. I said, don't. And he was like, Bobby Fish. I was like, son of a bitch, man. I was like, it took one.
Like, look what I started.
Yeah, because it was like no one noticed him. And it took one person to walk by and walking. And I'm like, no.
In slow motion, you're like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, I'm like, son of a bitch. And yeah, and then he got out of there quick. And the guy, he was like, man, I was wanting. I said, dude, there'll be other opportunities. He goes, yeah, like the Gorillas of Destiny over there. I was like, yeah, let's get in line and get to meet them. So we
right.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we're not gonna walk away from this thing empty-handed. Let's get over there and let's at least make something of our day.
Yeah, those guys are freaking cool, man. They're fucking cool. If you meet Gorillas of Destiny, Tonga Tong, I can't even say their names.
I've seen them guys.
Yeah, they're fucking great, man. I mean, they were chilled, man. You walked up there like, hey, what's up, man? I'm like, hey, just really welcoming and just awesome to meet. And Simon Grimm, he was hanging out there. I watched him in NXT when he wrestled here in Daytona. Simon Gotch back when he was with Aiden English as the Von Villains. And
oh yeah.
He was just sitting there just chilling. And after the show, and I walked by, and I just walked up. I was like, hey, what's up, Simon? And I was like, shook his hand, and I had a little conversation with him real quick. And I said, just want to say thanks for everything you did at NXT, and I enjoyed it. And thanks for everything you're doing at ROH. Really love what you're doing. And I said, I seen you out here. And he was like, oh, yeah, man. He says, yeah, that place was nuts at that center. He said, we saw the cops tase some homeless guy in the back. I was like, what? Yeah. I was like, yeah, that's Daytona for you. I was like, yeah, over in that part of town, yeah. I was like, well,
wrestlers say the darndest things.
Yeah, I loved it. But I shook his hand. I said, nice talking to you, and take it easy, and didn't ask for a picture or nothing. I just walked off. That was it. And I told someone that, and they're like, you didn't get a picture? I'm like, no, I just wanted to say hey.
I was like, I had a 5-minute conversation with the guy. I'm like, that's good enough for me.
Yeah. I mean, I bet he was probably like, he didn't even ask for another picture. That's strange. It's like, no, I just want to say, hey, what's up?
Sometimes you're almost relieved. You're like, oh, I don't have to like take my glasses off and put my hair up and all that. I'm like, I look like hell right now, but thank God they didn't want a picture. They just wanted to say like, hey, what's up? Yeah. I love your work. And that's it. And, let's just keep it casual. That's one thing I'd like to say to, like, a lot of fans. I mean, I know I would fangirl for Jericho, but on the down low, you just have to remember that these people are people, too, and they appreciate that you watch them, and at the same time, just relax, just we're people, be like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah, you don't want to mark out, because I think that's the baddest thing, is just to mark out. But like inside, it's like the little boy inside of me. He's like, oh my God, I'm meeting this person, and it's like, but you keep it cool. You just keep it cool.
Right, and then after that, you'd be like, Marty Skrull touched my hand. I'm never watching this hand again. After they walk away, you'd be like, fuck yeah.
Yeah. That's basically how it was. I was like, I met Paige, I met Seth Rollins. I'm like, this is fucking great, man. And
right.
Yeah. And then meeting some of the people. Oh yeah, I was kind of a mark for Terry Taylor.
Oh my God.
What happened? NXT came to Daytona. Okay, there they are. NXT in Daytona. And we went up there to meet, like, I think Big Cass was signing autographs and some other people back when he was in NXT. Terry Taylor came up to say, hey, guys, we got, and I was like, I was like, yeah, you guys are cool. I'm like, Mr. Taylor. I'm like, can I take a picture with you, man? And I got the picture, and he took a picture. And I was like, you're awesome, man. I shook his hand. And he's like, thank you. And I was like, cool.
He probably doesn't get that a whole lot with like everybody, like all the other people that he's around all day. Like, and he'd probably surprised, like, holy crap, this person knows me.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't been on TV in a while.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have to have, you know, in the back of his mind, he's probably like, I kind of appreciate this, but I'm glad I'm not being mobbed like those guys over there. Just a little appreciation, like, yeah, I'm doing a good job.
Yeah, I think so. I still got the picture up. My nephew took it when he went with us to see NXT. I think it's on my Instagram. It's on my Everett Lee Show Instagram. If you know how you get the pictures, but if you get hit, what is it? Pictures that you're tagged in, other pictures. It's it's right there. There I am with Terry Taylor. Yeah, you smile. You had that cheese smile. Look like it was great. I'm like, yeah, you guys are cool though, but this guy's cooler, you know.
Right, it's like somebody, like one of the older guys walks in, you're like, man, I watched you when I was 5 years old. And
yeah. How was your reaction when you said you watched the Rumble this weekend? How was your reaction to see Edge
I shit my pants. I already know what you're gonna ask. I knew, unfortunately, with the internet and all of its internet spoilers, I knew he was coming back, and I still heard, you think you know me, and I was like, there he is. Oh shit, sorry.
That's how excited you got.
I'm sorry.
Ow, my head.
I fell on my head. You should be used to that by now. I'm insane.
Yeah, that was crazy because he denied the reports about it from what I was reading online. And I said to myself, I was like, well, he shot that down because most of the time when they shoot it down, it's true or it's not. And when he's like, no, I didn't sign a contract. No, I didn't do this. I said to myself, well, I was like, who the hell?
Maybe he really did. Maybe he's really done. And
yeah, that's what I thought. 9 years. And then he comes back and it's like.
But I think like the Royal Rumble was like the perfect time for him to do so because then he doesn't really have to worry about like any kind of match preparation. It's just in and you're basically beating the shit out of it. It's a free-for-all, you know, and I think that was a good time for him to come back. That was a good show to bring him back on because then he doesn't have to like go, oh crap, my neck, or oh crap, I'm hurt. You know, you can just kind of like, and you can tell he's a little winded and a little rusty, but you know, after 9 years, I think anyone would be. I was rusty when I came back after a few years. You know, it's like, oh shit, I don't remember if I can still do this. You know, it's like, oh god, going home and taking a hot shower, going, I really need to work on my cardio.
That's great.
Yeah, I was happy. I mean, like when I saw Christian in the pre-show, I kind of went, he's here. I can just like it's the force. I can just feel him. He's here. I know. I don't know what he's going to do, but he's here somewhere. Yeah. So, and that chair. Did he take a chair shot Monday? I didn't get to see it, but I heard like a rumor, and I went.
Yeah.
I'm like, if he's okay with that, then fine. But I'm like, I don't know if I'd be taking a chair shot my first match or for my first show back. I'm like, after the neck fusion and all that. I'm like,
I know.
Are you crazy?
Yeah, he is. It was the Chercado or the thing that him and Christian. Him and Christian used to do to like the Hardys or you know the Dudleys.
Anybody, the Dudleys.
Dudleys. Pretty much anybody, and that's what he took. He took it from Orton because I mean I hit the dirt sheets, of course, just to see what's true or not. I take things with a grain of salt because I don't know what's happening, and yeah, it's funny to see what they report and stuff, and then to hear like the stuff that comes out of Dave Meltzer's mouth half the time. You're like,
oh Lord have mercy. You know, he's his own sideshow. I swear to God, sometimes just
And I laugh at the comments that people say, like they say, oh, Dave Meltzer took his own thing out of his mouth to actually have time to think about saying that.
That's true, though. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Yeah. It is. It's crazy. But I was looking at them saying that he's going to probably have a match at Mania with Orton, and I'm like, I was like, that'd be interesting to see, because I'd love to see that. I wouldn't mind seeing that, because him going up against someone who's like fast paced because of the time and everything in the ring. And yeah, they set it up perfectly for Monday. I mean, Orton came out. It was at the end of Raw, and he basically was like, Orton said, let's get our rated RKO together. Before Edge could say anything, boom, out of nowhere, RKO. And then chair to the back, and then chair Kato, and then there you go. So I don't know what they're going to build on that.
A picture of him him with the chair, and Edge is down, and I went, oh God, he didn't. And then I'm like, he did. Oh Lord, have mercy.
Yeah, he did. But if you really do think about the situation with Edge, it's been 9 years, because he retired in 2011, and 9 years. Everything pretty much is, I mean, look what happened to Shawn Michaels. 97 with that casket match. He fucked up his back, had surgery, and then didn't come back in 2003. And then he had the best, I think his best years and his best matches from 2003 until Taker retired him.
Right. And, at that point, with Shawn, like after he came back, at that point, he could kind of just like pick and choose what he was doing, which I think prolonged his career. He just wasn't going out and having match after match after match. He's like, okay, I'm going to have a match at Mania. I'm going to have a match at this pay-per-view. And not do a whole lot, like, show-wise, like Monday Night Raw and SmackDown and all that. Mm-hmm. So he kind of was able to save his body in that respect. So, and I hope that's what Edge does, where he does like pay-per-view kind of stuff only, like for like Monday Night Raw and all that, like builds himself up to whatever, have like a run in here, a run in there, and then have like their regular match at one of their pay-per-views, and he'll last a lot longer if he does that. And I hope he realizes that, because I love Edge. I do. Whenever someone gets hurt, I'm like, you don't have to wrestle every night. I'm like, once there's other people on the roster to fill your spot. Just heal up, get better, come back, live wrestle another 10 years.
Yeah.
don't make your life short, man. Don't. It's not worth it.
Yeah. Edge is the walking him along with Shawn Michaels and any other person that's, especially Daniel Bryan. Look how long he was gone, and he. Oh my
God! Right.
Yeah. Those three right there. But Edge would have to be the perfect embody of not giving up. And I love the promo he cut on Raw before Orton took him out. He basically said, I'm going to retire on my terms.
My
terms. I love that, because he's like, because I got grit. I love it. I'm so happy that he's back, and it's gonna be interesting. I mean, him calling out the ones that are still around and calling out the new ones and saying, I'll see you down the road. You imagine Edge having a match with Seth Rollins.
That would be pretty great.
Yeah, AJ Styles. I mean,
that's one I would want to see. That's one I'm kind of like hoping they push, because I think a lot of people want to see that.
Yeah.
Because I think he was out before AJ went to the E, so we never got, or it was that lapse in time or whatever. We never got to see that, and everyone's like the like fantasy football and all that. We got fantasy wrestling and all that, and everyone's like, oh, what if he had a match with AJ?
Yeah.
And then for like almost 10 years, we're like, oh, we're never gonna see that, and then he comes back at the Rumble, and you're like, this might happen.
Yeah.
This might happen. This might be good.
Yeah. And even I'm gonna throw this out there: Edge versus Roman Reigns. You can get spear versus spear. There you go. You got that right there. You know,
I could see that. I would definitely watch that.
mm-hmm. One of my favorite AJ style matches is when he wrestled against Roman, trying to go after the WWE title, because AJ just that match, because AJ brought the best. I thought the best out of Roman Reigns, because he made.
Definitely.
AJ was offensive, high flying here and there and stuff, though. But Roman, when he'd come back, it was like power. It was like a powerhouse.
Yeah, he's beating him down.
Yeah. He made Roman like a powerhouse. He makes anyone look good. He gets in the ring with, and he adapts to their style. He had a great match with Kurt Angle and Impact. Man, that was a hell of a match. Yeah.
Back in the day things, right?
Yeah. Kurt Angle there. I was like saying, we were talking about Kurt Angle not too long ago, and he's like, "Yeah, I want a gold medal with a freaking broken neck." It's just
yeah. That was a good. That was a, not to sound like a pun or anything, but that was a good angle for him. I liked how they actually went kind of IRL, like in real life, with the whole Olympics thing, and they kind of built him up from there. I'm trying to get my camera to stay. It's not staying. It's being true. Yeah, I got excited, and the stupid thing just doesn't want to stay. Hold on. Technical difficulty. You had some earlier. Now it's my turn. All right, there. I think we're good. There, I'm like putting my head up. Whatever. Okay. Anywho, screw it. Just all right. I'm done. I'm not touching it. We're good. I'm not touching it anymore. I'm gonna break it.
Well, yeah, the cameras. I got this one camera right here, especially the one I'm using to just I could go over and I could go like this to it. The thing would just fall over.
It's doing the blurry eye thing.
Yeah, that's the thing about that camera right there. It does the blurry eye thing. Let me take a look here. Yeah, it does. It's the lighting and stuff. I mean, especially if I go like this, it's like, oh, it didn't.
Like if you move too fast, it's got like that. Yeah, wait, what was that?
Yeah. What?
Squirrel.
Well, that's what happens with Microsoft, man. That's what happens when you have a Microsoft camera.
Yeah.
Choking over here.
It's like, yeah, computer issues. I mean, I get my husband in here and feel like he can go off for like 3 or 4 hours about how every program he hates and all that. I'm like, no, let's not do that. But nobody wants to hear that.
Nah. Especially tonight, because when I had Twitch open up on the browser, I hate that, because if you open it up and you barely click over back to it, it unmutes the freaking like volume sound, and it's like shit.
Right. Yeah. It's like I didn't want to do that, but thank you anyway. I mean, it's whatever.
Yeah. It is. It shit happens, and of course I say this all the time. Anything happens when you go live on the Everett Lee Show. Anything, but you'll enjoy. Oh, yeah. You'll enjoy the replay of this when you watch it back over on the YouTube channel, the Podcast Scene Network. People's gonna love that.
You're like, oh shit, I said all that, didn't I? Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been great talking with you, man. Just a lot of cool conversation tonight and having with you.
Definitely.
And I love it. Love to get you back on again on sometime back on the program. And
definitely, this was fun.
Yeah, definitely love it, man. Love it. Good conversation. Good music. Talking about some heavy metal. Talking about some old school wrestling.
Somebody says something and I'll go off on something, and I'll say something and I'll go off on something else. It's just a lot of my conversations go, they're like, oh, well, did you see this? Oh, well, what do you think of that? And I'll have like 5 different conversations at once. It's crazy.
It's all good. It definitely is. What upcoming events do you have coming up for yourself?
Currently, I think I just have SCW February 29th, and I might have like an ARW appearance February 8th. I don't know. It's like one of those things. I'll get there and I'll be like, so we're doing stuff tonight. We're not. It's kind of like. But as of right now, those are the two things I got going. So the calendar is free, people. Let me know. Holler at your Amazon.
Nice. And where can people find you on social media at?
Well, mostly I just have like the Facebook thing going. I have an Instagram, but I don't really use it a whole lot. So I usually just direct my anyone to my Facebook because I usually post all my matches and whatnot there, or my YouTube channel. So if you just look for the Amazing Amazon Natasha Crane, I think you linked it on the description. So if you want to just click that and you go there, and then my YouTube link is in there somewhere. Or you just Natasha Crane. I mean, you can't miss me. I'm hard to miss.
Nice. I do want to thank you for coming on tonight. And before I do close out, I do want to mention, since we're talking about social media and where to find you at, you can find more of the Everett Lee Show over on podcastcity.net, Podcast City Network, your top source for independent podcasts, and follow them over on Facebook, Podcast City Network, and hit them up on Twitter at Podcast City Net. You can watch the video portion of this podcast and previous released podcast and podcasts from all our great shows over on the YouTube channel, Podcast City Network, and be sure to follow them right here on Twitch for notifications when the Everett Lee Show, as myself, goes live right here on Podcast City Network's Twitch channel. And audio portions of this podcast and previous released podcasts you can find over on Stitcher Radio, iTunes. Give a rating and a comment, and Podbeam. Be sure to download those apps for your smartphone and tablets to keep up with the latest of the Everett Lee Show. And, of course, over on social media, Facebook, Everett Lee Show, on Twitter, at the Everett_Lee, Instagram, Everett Lee Show, and YouTube, Everett Lee Show. And next week on the podcast, next Tuesday, I will have none other than returning to the podcast, the Gold Rush Solomon Stone. He will be on the program talking about a lot of good things that he has coming up and much more. But the week after that, none other than Mr. Master of Wrestling Ring Music, Hurricane J.J. McGuire, is coming back on Tuesday night, February 11th, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, right here on twitch.tv/Podcast City Network and facebook.com/TheEverettLee. And, of course, Mr. Gold Rush Solomon Stone, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, right here on twitch.tv and facebook.com. And that is it for the Everett Lee Show podcast. I will see everyone Thursday night for Slammin' Thursday with the Chris Rose. We will talk about our predictions, if they were correct or not, on the Royal Rumble this past weekend, and much more wrestling discussion. So everyone, have a good night, and we'll see you again next time. Peace.